This is question 21 in exercise 5.2 in Project Maths 3A. Four identical laboratories are situated side by side in a straight corridor. The school principal wishes to designate a laboratory for each of physics, biology, chemistry and science. So first of all we've got to figure out how many different arrangements the principal can make, and then we're asked how many different arrangements can be made if the science laboratory can only be at either end. So for the first one with no restrictions, the way we can work this out is we just, first of all, we mark out little spaces of where our labs are going to go. We're going to count the amount of options that are going to go into each. So if we work them from left to right, we can say that for our first lab, we've got four choices of subjects, either physics, bio, chem, or science. So there's four options for that one. Once we have made that choice, the choice for the lab next to it has only got three options left. And then the choices for the lab next to that is only going to have two. And the very last lab, once we've designated the other three, we'll only have one choice left. So what we're going to do is we're going to multiply those numbers together, and that will tell us how many different ways we can arrange this. So it's 4 by 3 by 2 by 1, which is 24. Now another way of writing this sum here, 4 by 3 by 2 by 1, is 4 factorial. That's an exclamation point, and that means factorial. Factorials are where you multiply the number that is the factorial is going to apply to by all of the natural numbers before it. So if it was 4 factorial, it'd be going 4 by 3 by 2 by 1. For 5 factorial, it'd be going 5 by 4 by 3 by 2 by 1, and so on. But anyway, for part 1, we found out there are 24 different arrangements that the principal can make. For part 2, we've got restrictions being put on it. In this one, the science lab can only be at either end. So there's two different places the science lab can go. So if we look at our same layout as before for putting the arrangements in. So it's either going to be with the science lab down on the left end, down here, or the science lab down on the right end, down here. But one way or the other, there's only one choice in each of our restrictions because that's where the science lab is going. As for the other labs that are being filled in at this point, they're going to be filled in with the same method that we used for the other one. So once the science lab is in place, the next lab along you've got 3 options for it, and the next lab along you've got 2 options, which means you've only got one remaining option for the last one. And we've got the same thing going for when we put the lab down, the science lab on the right. So we've got 3 options for the lab on the left, 2 options for the next lab, 1 option for the next lab, like that. So if we multiply those out, it's going to be 1 by 3 by 2 by 1, which is 6, and we've got 3 by 2 by 1 by 1, which is 6. But because we can either have it with the science lab on the left end or the science lab on the right end, it means that we have to add these two numbers together to get the total amount of ways we can arrange it. So 6 plus 6 is 12. And that's the amount of different ways that we can arrange the 4 different subjects if the science laboratory can only be on either end. And that is that.